Yeah, this record is, I mean, I know it's been out for a while, but now we're getting to talk about it, and I love it.
Thank you.
Like, it's just you, really.
Well, I mean, on record, it is me, but the reason why anyone really knows about us is because we play as a live band and we promote it. So, yeah, on record, that's my baby, but, you know, what's really promoted it and gotten us to this level is a live band. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's two different entities, really, kind of, but yeah, it is on me.
And I do want to talk about the band too, but I found that fascinating that you're doing everything yourself on the record. So where does a song start? Do you start with programming? Do you start with synths on a guitar? Like, how do you write?
So I guess when a song starts,
let's go with "Carried Away" since that's the new video.
Okay, that's a great example. I was on a plane to LA to work with a producer. I was just going to meet and just trying to find a good producer to work with and co-produce the record with. And on the way there, it just popped into my head. And I remember walking down the aisle and singing it to my engineer and co-producer, Alex Aldi. And he was like, record that in your phone, the chorus for Carried Away. So I recorded it into my phone. I have about like 400 something recordings on my phone now. At the time, like making the record, I had like 200. And then I had about 200 like little demos going on. So that, you know, essentially it should come to you like it's magic or something. You shouldn't be able to really, there's no real environment that caters to it. It just happens. And those are the best songs, I think, happen that way.
So you don't sit there laboriously working over and working over?
Oh, I do. And those songs, there were songs that took like just the earlier, the soundscapes. Like for instance, It's Not My Fault I'm Happy took about 3 months to make, but really 2 days to finish, if you think about it. So it's just the state of mind that you're in when you're making a record, and you have to be really careful that you don't overdo it and don't overthink it. It has to be very, very much from the gut, you know, it has to be really, it has to feel like the most obvious thing. I feel like making pop music is about the most obvious melody, and that's what I find so brilliant about like the Irving Berlin songbooks and Gershwin and Jerome Kern's. Like just all their melodies just seem, the Gershwin, you know, Gershwin's especially, they're so perfect and they're so simple and they're just and it's basically like watching figure skating or something. You're like, that seems kind of easy. Right, you're just like, it looks easy. They make it look so easy, and that's kind of what like really good pop is like. It's like it's so simple, but the simplest stuff is the hardest stuff.
I hear you kind of want to make a simple record, like a stripped down, just you and a piano kind of thing.
I mean, people asked if I was interested in doing that,
and you just said yes and became a thing. I love how that happens.
I mean, if there's demand for it, I mean, I'd love to, but at this current juncture, I don't really have time, which is fine because that means we're working.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, I've done so many live recordings. I guess like if I compiled them, you know, James Blake did that, and that was really great. I love that little compilation that he released for free. But we might be putting out a live album as a band, so I'd rather that kind of take precedence.
So how did the band reinvigorate these songs? You're talking about you guys. It's a band, Passion Pit. It's not just you.
What differentiates us from other artists in our genre, I suppose, is that we use all analog synths and everything. We actually perform everything live. So it's like a rock band playing electronic music. And that's not really often the case. So, you know, one of our favorite bands is Hot Chip. And Hot Chip, we actually co-headlined the Hollywood Bowl with them, which was amazing. 17,000 people. It was amazing. And we were watching them play, and it was like a completely different animal. Like we were watching all the MIDI sequencing and everything. They like basically, with all like with some digital and mostly analog gear, like, you know, almost DJ a set. It was extraordinarily musical, and everything they were doing was very musical. But we sit there and have all of these keyboards on stage and actually play every single part, or at least as much as we can. So I think the willingness to do that and to make the shows pretty laborious and taxing on them, you know, as a band, I think that's really amazing. I think that people really see that and feel that. You know, it looks like a rock band is playing it. So, but we get the reaction that electronic acts get. So it's a weird type of, I don't know. We're somewhere in the thoroughfare between those two things. But
What was Madison Square Garden like?
we sold it out, and there was, of course, a blizzard. So, because of course, I mean, why not? Just the one time there's a blizzard this year, it has to happen on the night we're playing at Madison Square Garden. We've had so many setbacks this year. We've had so many setbacks. I personally have had so many setbacks, and us as a group have. We all have, and it was a really emotional moment when you had over 11,000 people going that crazy, you know, at the world's most famous, you know, arena. We honestly never went into this thinking that that was ever a possibility. So we're very grateful, and we felt like we put on a good show. And the feedback's been almost like we basically silenced all the haters, because you know no one wants you to be successful basically in this world, and especially you know I mean everyone just couldn't believe we pulled it off. I mean, where we were 7 months ago, I wasn't even supposed to be touring. They said I would never tour again.
Talking about emotional, like this record is super honest. Even Jeff was saying in an interview that I was reading that I guess you guys were rehearsing the songs for the first time, he was just like, dude, you really put everything out there.
I don't think you should ever question your work in that way. I think you have to be pretty much, you have to stand by your work. There's an accountability that every artist, or specifically writer, every writer has to, I mean, have. You can't be doing it for any other reason other than like this is the right thing to do, or this feels like the perfect thing to do. Because as painful as it was my way of kind of coming to terms with a lot of issues in my life. And I don't know, I'm not the first person to write a very honest, open record. You know, it's not.
Doesn't happen every day in pop music though. At least not stuff that gets played on the radio.
Well, I mean, you know, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel, but it's just I'm happy that people have responded to it in a way that isn't. Well, I mean, it's interesting. Some media outlets will still boil it down to like just a headline, and others will be very sensitive to it and talk about, you know, what you're talking about, like, you know, how it isn't very, you know, it's not usual for people in the spotlight to open up, but I'm not really in the spotlight. I'm not really at that point where it's like Rihanna level, or like what I never want to ever get to that point. Actually, I hope I just happily live in some kind of, I don't know, limbo, because that world to me seems like you can't live a normal life, and you can't ever be honest, actually. You know, I'm very happy with talking about it and being open about it. It has changed my life, and it has changed from what I've heard, changed a lot of our fans' lives. I get messages all the time from people who thank me for what I've done and what I've written about and how open I've been about things. And I mean, it makes me feel a little better about the whole, you know, me having my hobby be my main source of income.
It's always nice.
You know, because it's really, you feel kind of guilty at the end of the day. It's like I get to have fun every night, kind of, and for a living, and make, you know, it's weird. It's weird, and you want it, and it's just one of those redeeming qualities of being open and honest.
All right. I gotta let you go, so we do something called 5 questions. 5 quick questions, 1-word answers.
Oh God.
In these pods that we have not talked about at all, but it's pretty cool we're sending them.
Yeah.
Road or studio?
Studio.
Lennon or McCartney?
McCartney.
When you hear a song, what usually hits you first? Lyrics, melody, or rhythm?
Melody.
Song you've written you're most proud of?
Constant Conversations.
And in 1 word, passion pit.
Screwed.
That's good. You mentioned Constant Conversations, and it's your most proud of, but I heard you didn't even want it to be on the record. Like Rick Rubin pushed you into it.
You made it homework.
Made it homework. That's good.
He said, I showed him the chorus. I recorded the chorus for it, and he was like, "You have to finish that one. That's your homework. Next time, you're not allowed to like come back until you have it done."
That's amazing.
And I sent it to him, and he was the reason why I went on the record. That, and I was also someone at the label. They were all pretty much everyone kind of. It was all peer pressure. I was pushed into putting "Take a Walk" on the record. I didn't want that to go on. That song I don't like very much.
Before it became the massive hit, or?
I mean, dude, I've been living with it for years. Like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. I love when people are like, "So when's the next album coming out?" It's like, we're like mid-cycle. Yeah. It's hard. It's really hard to explain how the industry works to other people. But like, I was on that song like before the original the real Gossamer sessions happened. So that one I did on my own, and yeah, I thought it was just to kind of get the flow going.
Cool. I gotta let you go. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Nice talking to you.